with it. And then when he left, I just felt so disgusting within myself. I felt terrible.
We'll call her Elizabeth, a recent resident of St Mark's College. On her very first night there, she says she was assaulted in her room and forced to have sex with a third-year student.
Who did you blame for that?
I blamed myself for not shoving him off, for not pushing him out the door, but I was so confused from the sex tour. I was in a state where I didn't know who to blame, what to think.
This incident occurred after a day of alcohol-fuelled initiation rituals, which culminated in a confronting sex tour of the college.
There were literally couples. It appeared to me they were having sex, and there were girls on the table. I think there were 3 girls right in the middle of the library with their tops off, and porn on the big screen. And this was hardcore porn. And it had boys with their hands down their pants, looking like they were masturbating. I'd never seen someone masturbate, so that in itself was just another thing on top of everything else.
They had porn playing on the TV and guys that were butt naked walking around.
We first reported what was going on behind the closed doors of St Mark's College in March. Back then, 18-year-old Aria bravely told us about the trauma of her 2018 initiation week, which also included a so-called sex tour. But worse for her, she was forced to undress for older male students.
Some of us girls were saying, no, we don't want to do that. And I felt so intimidated because they were older, bigger, they'd been drinking. You know, I'm a 5'2", 18-year-old. You know, what am I going to be able to say to them that is going to make them stop? So I just thought I just need to do it.
After Aria's story, we were inundated with more complaints. Allegations of sexual assaults, as well as damning evidence supporting the claims. Almost 200 explicit photographs and videos taken inside St Mark's. But despite this proof of a toxic culture, current and former residents of the college turned on Aria.
It seems to me she just wasn't willing to participate.
Her story is exactly that, a story.
If you want to know the truth, speak to someone who was there longer than 3 days.
What a day we live in where outright lies can be passed off as journalism. Sorry, Mum, but fake news.
Even St Mark's leadership, including College Master Rose Olwen, who is also president of the National Association of Colleges, and St Mark's chairman Richard Birchnell, joined the chorus against Aria and 60 Minutes, saying we
gave viewers a very distorted, misleading and sensationalised picture of St Mark's, alleging that a toxic culture exists here, something we completely reject.
What has the response been to Aria's allegations?
She's been trolled by current students, former students, and old collegians who are adults in their 50s.
You've got 50-year-olds who are trolling an 18-year-old girl online.
Yep.
So rather than be applauded, she was vilified.
She was. She was vilified. Her parents were vilified. It's a toxic reaction to a toxic problem.
Shana Bremner runs an organisation called End Rape on Campus. She says Aria Kerwin's decision to go public about St Mark's has emboldened others to come forward, describing serious bullying and in some cases sexual assault at the college, fostered by its so-called traditions.
We've heard from a student who was found really incredibly drunk, almost to the point of being passed out in the shower one night. She was carried into her room by a male student. He shut the door. He had sex with her while she was basically unconscious, and while up to half a dozen other students stood outside the door chanting her name.
In anyone's eyes, that's rape.
It is rape. If somebody is not conscious and can't give consent, it's absolutely rape.
Coming up, more deception, more victims.
I was stripped down to my bra and underpants. The photo showed the group of men crowded around me.
The horrific culture lurking behind college walls.
It's basically like an aristocratic cult. You're either the bottom person or the top person. You're either to be killed or to kill.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
I never thought I would be the victim of sexual assault living at such a prestigious college.
Jenny, as we'll call her, was too scared to be interviewed, fearing retribution if her identity is revealed. Both her father and grandfather attended St Mark's College at Adelaide University and support its hazing traditions.
I wish I could tell my family why I left after only 1 year. I wish they could know that I cried myself to sleep so many nights.
Instead of sitting down with us, Jenny has written and signed a statement detailing her assault and has asked us to broadcast it.
I know what happened to me was not an isolated case. Others have been subjected to similar experiences, or at least treated as a piece of meat for the men to play around with.
Jenny describes a dangerous drinking culture at St Mark's, as the almost 200 photos and videos we've obtained prove. And what she awoke to one morning after passing out drunk will stay with her forever.
My friend showed me photos a group of men had taken of me. I was stripped down to my bra and underpants. The photo showed the group of men crowded around me and touching me on different parts of my body. One of them was propping me up under my arms, and another was pretending to sniff my hair. Another man had his hands on my breasts.
He was extremely drunk and he wanted to talk, so I stood outside of his unit and he grabbed me and pulled me into his room, slamming the door, standing between me and the door. And I, the next day, had bruises.
Elizabeth is another former student of St Mark's. She alleges she was sexually assaulted numerous times in her first year.
He knew that he'd done something wrong and he came to talk to me and he said, "Oh, I hope you don't go to the police." And I said, "Oh, well, that thought didn't even cross my mind because nobody had talked to me about my options."
Did you raise any of your concerns with the college?
I did. I told at the end of the year that I had experienced sexual assault and that it had really impacted me. And she said that it's all part of growing up. That's what she told me.
To be clear, the person she spoke to was not College Master Rose Alwyn.
If I had reported it, I would have lost my friends. Everyone on my floor would have known me as the girl who got someone expelled or the girl who lied for attention. This is the culture of the college. So I stayed and tried to forget about it. 1 whole year I kept up the act. It hurt every single day to pretend.
These are institutions that have long histories of covering up abuse.
Is it possible that all these people who've come to us, who've come to you, are lying?
No. They can't all have the same stories. It's not a coincidence. It's a systemic cultural issue.
Shana Bremner runs the support group End Rape on campus. In February, they released the Red Zone report, which details disturbing incidents of alleged abuse at university colleges around the country.
To flat out deny that this goes on is a lie. It's a blatant lie. For them to turn around and say none of this happened, or for the students to say this didn't happen because it didn't happen to me, is crap. You know, I've never personally had cancer. That doesn't mean that everybody sitting in an oncology ward is a liar.
St Mark's is supposed to be one of the leading residential colleges in the country. It boasts doctors, lawyers and politicians among its past students. 3 months ago, when we first reported the ritual hazing at the college, we attempted to speak with College Master Rose Alwyn.
Rose, can you come out of your office?
Now, with our new evidence and testimony of victims, we again requested interviews with Miss Alwyn and St Mark's chairman, Richard Birchnell. Both again refused.
Miss Alwyn and I decline your request for an interview.